Welcome. You have entered the realm of 1111 Talk Radio. Your host is Simran. It's time to discover your own language with the universe. Empower yourself, broaden your mind, open your heart, and discover who you are. Now, here's your host, Simran.
Hello and welcome. It is a delight to be with you this week, and I want you to take a breath and center into your heart and connect to your senses. So often we don't realize that when we are moving about in the world in our wave between conscious living and unconscious living, we're often very much led by our senses. But that can be a leading that can be very surface. We're led by the hungers or by what we happen to hear with our ears, but not necessarily with our whole body. We're led by the touch of something, but not really always allowing it to deepen into us, to truly touch us. We're led by the smells and the scents that come about, but not necessarily aware that these scents and smells that surround us might be signs and conversations with the universe to take us back to a moment in time or a memory, or to simply become present. And now more than ever in our busy, distracted world, it's time that we start developing practices and ways that we deepen into our senses for a higher octave of living, for a higher expression and a way that we can become more embodied within our higher self, rather than simply living from the identity or the personality. So how do we do that? How do we activate our senses in a way that we start to go inward and allow that involution to impact our evolution? If we look at the world today and a lot of the chaos or the fear or the discomfort and the challenge that people are having, it's because we're so outside of our bodies that we've forgotten how to go back into our bodies. We have gotten too casual and dispersed in our energy that we've forgotten the sacredness of ritual and ceremony and how to center back into what is holy. Today's show is going to share with you some products, some ways, some methods, some conversation that will allow you to tap into your senses, to make sense of the world, and to deepen internally so that you can take a breath, so that you can walk in confidence, in empowerment, and deepen into greater and greater joy because you're connected to your deep soul and sacred essence. We are each here to tap into that Siddhic level, that God presence that resides within each of us. But that requires a reverence and an uplifting. And all we have to do is inhale, deeply inhale, and remember. My guest today is Adora Winquist, and she is an internationally renowned author, healer, and expert in the fields of essential oils and vibrational medicine. As a spiritual teacher and leader, she intertwines the ancient alchemical healing practices of the natural world and psychospiritual principles. Her background includes over 25 years of professional experience and education through top organizations in her fields of study, such as the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, the School of Aromatic Studies, and Rutgers University. She's the founder of the Soul Institute, the vision of which is to uplift over 25 million individuals to find, live, and thrive in sacred purpose. And she has co-authored Detox, Nourish, Activate, Plant and Vibrational Medicine for Energy, Mood, and Love, a revolutionary guide to healing trauma at the DNA level for self-mastery. And she's also the author of The Love Frequency, a Modern Alchemist Guide to Thriving in Sacred Purpose. And that is out now. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Adora to 1111 Talk Radio.
Thank you so much, Simran. What a true pleasure and delight to commune in conversation with you today.
I want to start there around the senses because so often we take so many parts of ourselves for granted. And we get so used to those parts and in a way conditioned as to, what those aspects of us are really here for. And unfortunately, in a lot of places, a lot of cultures, a lot of schools, or a lot of families, we're not necessarily taught the deeper levels of what some of these senses can activate within us. Can you talk a little bit about how you see the senses and view a path of deepening into them for vibrational rising?
Absolutely, because I do feel and agree wholeheartedly that our senses are a master key to our personal transformation, to embodying that divine design that we have come into this life to thrive in every facet of our birthright, which is a life of plenty, plenty of love and health, abundance, and perfected self-expression. And the five senses are so integral in this process because we've all experienced some degree of challenge, adversity, of trauma in our lives. And in addition to that, we are all embodiments of our ancestral lineage. So elements of experience that perhaps you did not have in the course of your life, but one of your ancestors did, that is unresolved, is still held within you from your soul to cellular consciousness and subconscious. So how do we change? How do we transform in a way that is actually sustainable? Because I think so many of us have had a wonderful experience of maybe going to a seminar, have a healing session, a workshop, or a retreat, and we feel amazing when we're there, right? When we leave, we feel like, oh my goodness, I'm at the top of my game. And then we return to our daily lives, where we are ultimately creatures of habit, right? We do what we know. And what we know is based on our beliefs, our thoughts, our patterns, thinking and feeling, action and reaction. So before we know it, we end up in a kind of similar place within our pattern, saying like, it's like a scratch of the head. Hey, I felt so wonderful. Why am I not holding this change, this new frequency, this new level of consciousness, or this new understanding about myself and my ability to co-create the life of my dreams? And so this is really where the five senses come in. Now, this is actually such an integral element in modern alchemy, which is this comprehensive system, comprehensive but yet tangible system of personal transformation that's based on these 3 decades of my own healing journey personally, and then also professionally, and focusing on holistic well-being with an emphasis on emotional resilience, spiritual awakening, which are intrinsic elements to our sustainable well-being and our path of self-mastery. And so because we are creatures of habit, Simran, the five senses give us a pathway to connect our biochemical aspects of being, right? From our physiological perspective, knowing that with certain things that we experience or inputs into the body, that there is a physiological response, a biochemical response, neurotransmitters, hormonal release, which is key to sustainable transformation. And at the same time, we're also alchemical in nature.
So hold on one second, and let's back up and talk a little bit about alchemy. Yeah. And most people have this idea that alchemy is that transformation of lead to gold. And when we apply that to the human life and the human experience, it's oftentimes the transformation of what is of the dense nature within us, the dense thoughts or the dense energy, the dense emotions, to this understanding, realization, and embodiment of a lighter, the higher, the golden nature that we are. How does aromatherapy connect with alchemy?
Excellent. So precisely what you have so succinctly put about alchemy from the individual, from the higher or spiritual seeker perspective, is our personal journey of transformation, right? It is the hero or heroine's journey or quest to take the places of limitation within us and unlock that golden frequency, that quintessence that is held inside. So aromatics, in particular aromatherapy, which is the use of pure essential oils, are one of the 5 pillars of modern alchemy and one of the master keys to unlock both the biochemical aspects and gifts that are held within you, as well as the quintessence, that energetic, that spiritual nature of wisdom and divine knowledge that is encoded upon your soul. So when you inhale a pure essential oil or a synergy, it travels through the olfactory bulb directly to the brain, specifically the limbic center and the amygdala that control so much of our physiology, specifically mood, memory, and emotion. So in this way, when you inhale the right combination of essential oils, you are able to shift your mood literally in the moment. Often you experience an immediate shift in your nervous system. So the nervous system responds, activating the parasympathetic nervous system of a state of calm, right? Restoring balance in the nervous system, which we know is so key to our life of thriving, for our emotional resilience and well-being, for living a life fully and freely. So in this way, when you're inhaling the essential oil and you're lifting your mood in the moment, and you are accessing a higher state of consciousness, your energy field is opening, your chakras are opening. Because the essential oils have this powerful connection with the brain, you're able to open a new memory cell. And this is where it gets incredibly fascinating. Because when you start using the essential oils in this way, which is relatively simple, right? Once you can understand it, and it comes through a modality I created called ANR, aromatic neuro repatterning, you're able to create a new memory cell. So then imagine that you go into your sacred practice or your meditation or your...
And let me pause right there, Adora, because that to me is another integral part, that when a person is about to begin this, they can either pick up one of your beautiful creations, let's say clear alignment, and they're zipping out the door and they're going into their car, they're in their car and they have this in their car. They can quickly spritz themselves and have that clearing and that alignment that takes place.
Yes.
But then there's a deeper level, and that's so much of what I really love for listeners to keep tapping into with each week's show, is we have many levels of being, and the deeper the being that we present, the deeper our presence that we present, the more powerful the experience and the ripple that takes place. So if we don't just casually go and spritz, which is going to have a powerful effect on its own, but we actually have an intention. We stop and take a breath first, and we allow that energy of excitement to fill us about the change that we can make. We create a visual in our mind of what it is that we see ourselves as cleared and aligned, and then we utilize what you've created. Talk about the distinction of what can happen when it's with real intention versus general use.
Yes, and this is so important. I love that you presence this, Simran, because it's really the difference between a habit and a ritual, right? We can brush our teeth in the evening and our mind is roaming about perhaps the day's list of accomplishments or what didn't get accomplished or what needs to get done tomorrow. Or we can have the practice with a place of mindful intention, where we are harnessing that divine holy power that exists within us. We are engaging the potency of the mind in the alchemy of the present moment. Because it is within the alchemy of the present moment that the doorway opens, right? That we can cross the threshold of the beloved to the place of 0 point field, of limitless creation. And the only way we can get there is through this moment. And the engagement of the mind, intention, presence is a master key to that door opening before you. Because in that process, you can transform the places of the past and through the present moment, sculpt a new future for yourself that is far more aligned with your heart and your soul and the longings that are within you to create and co-create in this life so you can live your dream. And this is where the aromatics really become your tool of personal transformation in the moment. And because of this connection with the limbic center, Simran, and this is so fascinating because as we're using like the clear alignment with the intention to be aligned, right? Awakened heart, illuminated mind, embodied soul, to be clear, to have that clarity of path and purpose and direction, that when we are harnessing that in the moment, well, the doorway of miracle consciousness opens before us. And that becomes anchored in your brain. And because the oils also pass through the blood-brain barrier, which is a very rare gift in this case, the oil then moves its alchemical and biochemical nature through every part of your physiology where your blood goes. So imagine that you are engaging the fullness of your holistic being, your multifaceted, your multidimensional nature in a way that is tangible, practical, and yet profound. And really
and simple, because I think in our industry, in the work of personal growth and spiritual growth, so often it's made to be so hard.
yes.
And this is something that is simple. It's something that's loving, that's nurturing, that's caring, that's present, that's revering, that's honoring. And we must now, I feel, turn towards simplicity with things to return back to our own pure and simple nature.
This is so true. This is so true. And I can really understand this on the personal level because sometimes my Aquarian nature complicates things far more than they need to be. And so in this creation of modern alchemy, in this kind of 5-5-5 concept, 5 pillars, including essential oils, 5, what I call the 5 P's of process, from philosophy, principle, process, and practice, which is key because without a consistent practice, we do not change sustainably. Now, the practice doesn't have to be we go to the Himalayas and stay for a year in a cave. No, the practice can be very simple, very accessible, less than 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. But it is the consistency that is the key because that creates the stepping stone effect that before you know it, those stones becoming closer and closer together are the bridge from where you are now and where you long to be, living your dream each and every day, where now you understand that the sacred is in each moment. There really is nothing mundane about this life. And so that's why the fifth, or the third 5, if you will, of the 5-5-5 of modern alchemy are the 5 senses. Because when you can have a simple practice that engages those five senses, well, you're lighting up so many of these areas of your neurochemistry, of your biology, but also of your spirit and of your essence, your divine frequency, that kind of quintessence, that golden essence of who you are, unique in the world, just like your fingerprint is unique to you.
Now, you talked a little bit about workshops and people getting away to places. And I do believe that when we step outside of our life and we take a period of time to to get away to somewhere, that it really does allow us to shed that identity for a period, to have the awarenesses and things that can take place. So those are beautiful experiences to engage with. But I also believe that we are here to learn how to live that every day, to literally learn how to live on retreat every day, to have a moment to step outside of ourselves in the world that we live in and hang that identity on the shelf or in the closet so that we can return to that place of nothingness and then simply breathe in the naturalness that we are. I've constantly tried to embark ideas upon people about how we are vortexes, how we are a crystal, we are a crystalline structure. Talk a little bit about how aromatherapy can create that daily retreat experience, even if it's only a practice that is a 5-minute practice in the morning or in the evening when going to bed. And does it make a difference whether you utilize these morning or evening in terms of the impact?
That's a really great question too. So when you're using the aromatics, and now of course we understand there's many different ways that we can utilize them, but the key in this process is olfaction, your inhalation. And so the element that you've said here and a few minutes ago in particular about simplicity, about naturalness is really so important, because our true longing is to come back to a place of simplicity and a deeper connection to Mother Earth, right? Mother Earth is calling us back to ourselves, back to each other, and back to connection, communion with what is simple and natural and real, because it is medicine. Nature is medicine for us on every level. And I also appreciate the crystalline structure that you just mentioned. Now, one of the other pillars of modern alchemy is crystal healing. And I want to use this analogy for a moment, because think of yourself as a diamond, right? And we understand that how a diamond forms is through great heat and pressure. Well, rather similar to us, right? Through the adversity that we have faced in our lives, the challenges, the places of pressure that have forged the many different facets of our existence. Well, in the course of your life, you're here to really polish your diamond so you can shine the brilliance that you are. And the more that you use the aromatics combined with your intention, your desire, your invitation to the universe, your invitation for receiving all of the spiritual benevolent forces of support around you. Well, what happens when you do this consistently is that you are reshaping your neural pathways. You are, if you imagine your subconscious as a garden that holds all of the memories of your past since the moment of your conception, well, the aromatics in this way also help you to weed out those beliefs, thoughts, feelings, patterns of acting, reacting, behaving that no longer serve you. So the transformation that becomes tangible to you is profound, where the quantum leap in your consciousness and your day-to-day life is very much attainable in the here and now.
Beautiful. I'd love to talk more about nature and plants in the next segment. But for now, I want you all to take a deep breath. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that right in front of you is a beautiful vial of emotional freedom that is composed with essential oils and beautiful aromatics. And in this moment, you're going to unscrew that cap, and you're going to take that vial and you're going to place it on your palm. It's a roller ball, and you roll it around your palm gently with an intention of emotional freedom to release any of the strain, any of the pain, any of the emotions that might be binding you in this moment. And as you roll that around, that oil centers into your left palm for that receiving. And you place that vial down on the table, and you place your other palm with it together, and you start to roll that oil between both palms. And now you take those palms and you lift them to your nostrils, and you take a deep inhale, allowing yourself to take in all of the fragrance and noticing and feeling and sensing that traveling up your nostrils into your brain, illuminating that blood-brain barrier and settling in there where it is opening up all kinds of veils and neural pathways and traveling now through your body. And as you exhale, you feel that emotional release. You feel that emotional freedom. You feel that renewal and refreshment. And you take another deep breath. And another. And you open your eyes, and you see the world a little bit differently. The path of the modern alchemist is a quest to find the master keys to your most fulfilling and vibrant life. It is the hero of heroines' journey that focuses on transforming the world within you. This quest is a journey inward that is grounded in both principles and practical action in this physical world to support you in engaging more effectively and harmoniously with the world around you. I invite you to find out more about Adora Winquist and her Soul Institute, her high five aromatics, by going to thesoulinstitute.co. You can also find out about some upcoming events at Kripalu, August 11th through 14th. She's hosting Modern Alchemy of the Heart, and Omega, August 23rd through 25th, the Love Frequency Retreat. And if you want a deep immersive experience in southern France around Mary Magdalene and ceremony and Akashic Records, then you can go with her September 16th to 25th. All of these are available on her website, along with a whole array of beautiful aromatics. Go to thesoulinstitute.co. We'll be right back with more of Adora Winquist after these messages.
Follow Voice America at Facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Have you seen 1111? Do you wonder why certain numbers keep showing up in your life? 11, 111, 22, 33, 444. People all over the world are seeing 1111 and learning the language of universal communication. Subscribe to 1111 Magazine today. www.1111mag.com. 1111 Magazine is a bi-monthly print publication that offers a rich, multi-sensory experience. As you engage with experts and topics of consciousness, become enlightened, empowered, and energized, so you live a passionate and authentic life of conscious choices. 1111 Magazine, a daily staple for lifting the mindset, discovering the heart, and stepping into conscious living. 1111 Magazine. Order now at www.1111mag.com. 1111mag.com.
Do you want more? More joy, more abundance, more power and presence? How would it feel to have more loving relationships, more empowered community, greater fulfillment, and life purpose? The 1111 Mastermind community inspires, empowers, guides, and supports transformation. Shift your mind, expand your heart, deepen insights, let go and chart a new course, dream a new dream. The 1111 Mastermind community is an online portal for personal transformation and soulful expansion. Go to courses.1111mag.com. That's courses.1111mag.com. Change begins with you. Let it be simple, convenient, and transformative. The time is now. Step through the 1111 gateway. Courses.1111mag.com.
Live up to your fullest potential. This is the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
You are listening to 1111 Talk Radio. Simran is an award-winning author, publisher of 1111 Magazine, powerful speaker of wisdom, and a life mentor. Find out more at IamSimran.com. Now, back to 1111 Talk Radio.
Welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of that imagining about the emotional freedom. And as you come back into this segment, take a deep breath, close your eyes once again, and you're going to have a tiny vial of success. It's a beautiful aromatic that you now open, and it's got a squeezer bottle that drips just a drop. But this time I want you to allow it to drop against your wrist and slightly trickle down, and lift your wrist to your nose and inhale what that is. And then allow your other wrist to go over it in a circular motion, then bringing both wrists up your arms and across your shoulders and to your heart, wrapping you in success. These are some of the things that you can do with the intentions and the fragrances and the oils, and I invite you to explore more at thesoulinstitute.co, where you can find out more about Adora Winquist's High Five Aromatics and her Soul Institute. I'm going to go into a little more detail now about some of her upcoming events if you're interested. Kripalu, August 11th through 14th, Modern Alchemy of the Heart, goes into the 5 elements. It deals with activations and an immersion with aromatics and crystals. And then Omega, August 23rd through 25th, is the Love Frequency Retreat. Here, Adora will have you travel inward to the human heart and tap into the 4 master keys of self-leadership. And if you're wanting to take an even further immersion, you can go with her to southern France for a pilgrimage where you deepen into the essence of Mary Magdalene. There's oils, there's crystals, there's Akashic records, there's ceremony, and that is September 16th through 25th of 2024. And she does this every year, so if you can't make it this year, you can check out her 2025 dates. Again, her website is thesoulinstitute.co. Adora, we were talking a bit about nature, and that was one of the points that I had planned to come back to, because so often individuals, when we're in our lives, we take these times to get out into nature or to the beach or to the mountains or wherever feels good to us, and we all know that it feels good. It just feels good to be against the trees and against the mountains or the waterfalls or the ocean sounds and the air. And the reason that it feels good is because it is a mirror of our naturalness. It is a reflection of who we really are. And then we go back into our worlds and we bump up against people, places, and things that feel good, and people, places, and things that are not always feeling so good. Can you talk a little bit about how the aromatics are created through plants? They're created through that nature that feels really good, and how that brings that resonance back inside of us, that memory back to us as to aligning more with that natural, simplistic self. And then does that assist people in shifting out of their lives or letting go of the things that do not feel good?
Mm. Yes, absolutely, because this is truly one of my greatest passions. When I was young, I spent much time alone in nature with the trees and flowers and stream creatures and stones. And it was my solace, my comfort. And what I've remembered as an adult in my own healing journey is that when we are young, when we are connected, communing in nature, we feel the sense of spirit, of divinity everywhere around us. We are fully engaged with our senses. We are also fully aware of our magic. There is no question, there is no doubt. We're able to hear the flowers, the messages from the trees, and connect to the very core of who we are. And the truth is that joy is the essence of who we are. And the beauty of nature, when we can go and look at the patterns, right? The sacred geometry of the sunflowers or passion flower or lotus or rose. Well, we are seeing divine perfection that is around us in a tangible way that we can experience, right? Think of the rose, for example. We can work with the essential oil, which is quintessential heart medicine, which connects us to the cosmic heart, the heart of Mother Earth, but also the gifts of wisdom and knowing and truth that are held within our own hearts. The rose, which is a really good example that we can use right now, is a messenger of sacred medicine for all five senses, right? We can make a tea from the petals. We can smell it. We can touch it, the velvet silkiness of the leaves as we're inhaling the aroma. Well, if you recall the last time that you spent with a rose, how engaged you were in the present moment, right? The five senses bring us into the moment. And this is something that we can experience in a way that is very simple, whether it's through the nature in your environment, your community, or your own personal garden, or a loved one's garden or community garden, where we can go without great cost to experience the divine perfection of nature, which is a force of healing. That there is more and more research being done on the effect of spending time in the forest, breathing the aroma from the trees and how it's killing the cancer cells in the body. We know that it benefits the nervous system, reduction in blood pressure, right? So many versatile benefits. And also, when we experience something like a rose, which represents divine perfection, right? That sacred geometry. Well, because we are a microcosm of the macro, well, that divine perfection must also exist within us. That is universal law. So when we are in nature, the divine perfection that is encoded within our DNA, right, which is a form of sacred geometry, that is also encoded within our soul, from our soul to our cells, reawakens, right? We feel uplifted, inspired, engaged, and present in the moment in a way that is simple and yet profound. And
so the aromatics,
yes,
they support alignment, they support connection and presence, coming back into the now.
yes.
And I know you've also said it's kind of like feng shui for your energy field. You know, we're always talking about feng shuiing our homes and our offices and wanting all of that energy to be correct. But this is a way now to feng shui our energy field. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, because this is so important, right? Curating your energy and the energy of your environment is critical for your overall health and well-being from a holistic perspective, because your body, your cells are continuously communicating through your environment, through the quantum field, through your energy field. So if you've noticed, when you go into maybe an office, a store, or even a home is a good example, or a room where someone has had an argument. Well, that energy is tangible, right? Have you experienced that before? Like, oh, something feels funky in here. It's heavy. It doesn't feel good.
I think everyone's had that experience before. Yes, we all have a subtle sense and understanding when you walk into a room that way. So,
well, precisely. So I used to work in frontline customer service for cable TV many, many, many years ago, which, is a kind of humorous a role to start off with. But when people would come in and be really, really angry in this small office because their TV wasn't working, they would leave, but that energy was still there. So creating like a product like this, Clear Alignment, was crucial for not just my well-being, right, as an empath, but also my coworkers, right? Because it would happen very quickly, like, oh, I feel so irritated, I'm grouchy, or I'm exhausted, or, things don't seem to be moving so smoothly in the rest of our afternoon, but we couldn't burn incense or candles. So that's why I started formulating products like the Clear Alignment to transform the energy, transmute the places of heaviness in the environment to open to harmony, right? Because nature, right? Look at it when the moment that you look outside or go for a walk in nature, what do you feel? The first thing is a sense of like, oh, I can breathe, right? I feel that sense of emotional freedom. I feel harmony. I feel easefulness. Oh, I feel joyful. So the more time you spend outside, the more joyful you can feel. Now, when we can't spend a lot of time outside because of our day-to-day, our schedule, our commitments, the aromatics are bringing the outdoors, the quintessence of the plant, the sacred geometry, but also the biochemical aspects, the chemical constituents, which can be antidepressant in nature, anti-inflammatory, that can be calming and soothing and restorative for the nervous system. So you're bringing that plant medicine into your environment, so you're curating your space. So your vibration, your divine frequency can be unlocked, so you can be open and feel that sense of freedom and connection that empowers you in each moment to know what direction to take, what decision is going to serve your best and highest good.
Now, I know you make many different, lines or categories of these aromatics, and I know the emotional freedom is from the chakra collection, so that you do have a collection that supports individual chakras. And then you also have a collection of goddesses or archetypal type of essences. I know, like Mary Magdalene or Kuan Yin. Can you speak a little more as to those? Are these helping us to identify and align with that archetype? Is that bringing that energy into us? How exactly does someone work with some of these types, and are there others?
Yes, there are a number from the goddess collection that, just like each aspect of the divine feminine has a unique set of attributes or gifts, like Kuan Yin is very calming and soothing and helps to bring us that sense of feeling safe and protective, especially when we're navigating some of our early child consciousness healing journey, or working with children. Like my daughters, I use that formula a lot for them. Or the Mary Magdalene, which is more about coming into that sense of connection between heart and sensuality, to bring divine love and sacred self-leadership into all facets of your life, because ultimately the divine feminine energy is rising on the planet, not from a place of conquering or overpowering the masculine, but as a means to come back to balance and unity. Because we all have aspects of the feminine and masculine within us. And the true sacred marriage is that, that place of healing, of balance and unity between our own inner masculine and feminine aspects, which are imprinted from our early childhood dynamics and also through our ancestral lineage. Our feminine aspect connecting in through our mother and our mother's bloodline, and our masculine aspect connecting into the belief systems and thoughts and patterns through our father and our father's bloodline. So these aspects of the goddesses through the aromatics bring those healing frequencies deep within to the core of who you are for healing, awakening, balancing, and activating those places of dormant wisdom and divine knowledge that are held within you, within each and every cell of your body. And that is one of the great gifts when we talk about the deepening of the layers that we can discover and decipher within us. Well, the aromatics help to awaken those places of knowing that exist within us, those many gifts that we carry even when we're not consciously aware of them.
I want to ask about your nonprofit and what that mission and vision is. Can you tell a little bit more about that?
Yes, thank you. This is such a passion that I have been preparing. I like the idea of preparing versus waiting or awaiting the right time. But the name is Opus Gaia, and this actually is a name of my previous aromatherapy company, and this name came to me in 2009. Perhaps you or your listeners are familiar with the idea of a magnum opus, a composer's great musical composition through the course of their life. And Opus Gaia to me is really my great work of offering to Mother Earth and all kingdoms of life here, to humanity, to elevate, to evolve our consciousness, to return to that co-creation of heaven on earth, but first through each and every one of us. And so now that I'm bringing Opus Gaia back, it's returning in its nonprofit form, which was really the kind of the foundation that was given to me about 15 years ago when my first daughter was born. And so the focus of Opus Gaia is on soil, water, children, and our future. In fact, the tagline is soil, water, children, future. And the interconnectedness between these primary aspects of our human existence. And we understand that right now we are at this pinnacle of mood-based discontent. And because the earth was projected to be at a higher state of evolution at this point, the children that are coming in are far more awake and aware of their purpose. But because the systems, right, in family, in school, on every level right now on the earth do not support that higher level of consciousness, we're seeing the highest number of mental health challenges, depression, anxiety, medication, and suicide from our younger generations. And these are the future leaders of humanity, the future stewards of Mother Earth. Simultaneously, we see the breaking down of our soil, our water, reaching critical points where we are collectively at risk. So Opus Gaia's mission is to focus on this interconnectedness between soil growing first with aromatic plants for distillation, and using what I call the technology of spiritual science, which is this process of co-creation that I've developed to ensure the highest vibrational frequency is held within the plants, and restoring the soil, restoring the water, right? The pristine aspect of these elements that are intrinsic to our life and well-being here on the earth, and for the future of our children, for the future of humanity. And so the programs that we will offer will be around the growing and distillation, that will also include modern alchemy, right? The 555, the 5 pillars of the essential oils, crystals, meditation, practical alchemy, and the most important pillar, which is the love frequency, right? That journey inward, and how we can teach or really transmit to the children from first adolescence to teens the remembrance of their divine blueprint, the remembrance of who they really are and why they are here, giving them the tools to thrive in their life, in their future, so that we can thrive collectively going forward.
That's beautiful. It's wonderful to know about. You can find out more at thesoulinstitute.co. If you are feeling overwhelmed or scattered, breathe in geranium and affirm, I am calm, centered, and capable. If you are feeling angry or resentful, breathe in rose essential oil and affirm, in my sacred heart, I give and receive my love. If you are feeling past pain or trauma, breathe in cistus essential oil and affirm, I release all that no longer serves me. I receive the wisdom held within all my life experiences. And if you are feeling sad or anxious, breathe in bergamot and affirm, I see the beauty in nature. I am wholly present in this moment, which holds beauty and peace. Daily use of aromatic neural repatterning offers the ability to navigate through the challenges of daily life and transmute past patterns that no longer serve you, excavating your authentic self to experience a greater degree of passion, joy, health, and inner beauty. This is from Adora Winquist's work, and you can find out more about her and all of the work that she does by going to her website, thesoulinstitute.co. Definitely check out some of the upcoming events that are there and participate, whether it is Kripalu, which is August 11th through 14th, Modern Alchemy of the Heart, Omega, August 23rd through 25th, Love Frequency Retreat, or the Pilgrimage to Southern France with Adora Winquist and working with the Mary Magdalene energies, oils, and crystals. Again, that's thesoulinstitute.co. Adora says we are all deserving of love right now, the deep, intimate, soul-expanding love we have always dreamt about. You are capable of creating so much more in the course of your life than you are taught and led to believe, because we each have a gift and light within us. We each can change the world, but first by healing ourselves. This is the Adora frequency, and Adora means to honor yourself as the beloved one. It is a transmission of consciousness and the energy of love. Thank you, Adora, for being on 1111 Talk Radio. It has been simply fragrant. Until next time, I am Simran, in love, of love, with love, and as love. Be well.
Thank you for opening your mind to a new reality, your heart to greater compassion, and your experience of aliveness with 1111 Talk Radio. Join host Simran next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time to step through the gateway of conscious living here on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Remember, you are not on the journey. You are the journey.